So, welcome to my Easter eggs guide for the game B-17 Flying Fortress the Mighty Eighth. Now, as far as I am aware, there are 2 Easter eggs in this game. Now, the first involves aliens on a beach. Now, this is fairly well documented, available online. There are still some web pages that you can access online where a few pictures were posted of people that actually went to the location in the game where the aliens are and put some snapshots up, and there's a little bit of description about them. I'll put links to those websites that I found in the description below, so check those out in your own time. To access and find the aliens in the game, there's a bit of an interesting story behind that. The way people managed to track that one down is that if you played the original game's CD as a music CD, then apparently on track 8 it had some Morse code. And then when you decode that Morse code, it came up with the name of a place. And that's a place in southern England called Lyme Regis. It's a seaside resort. And so some intrepid B-17 players ultimately flew there and found the aliens. So that's what I'm going to do in the first segment of this video. I'm going to fly this P-47 here from this Steeple Morden airfield, and this was the home of the 355th Fighter Group in reality during some part of World War II. I'm not going to take you through the entirety of that. It's about an hour's flight away. It's around 150 miles from Steeple Morden, but there's no other closer air bases modeled in the game that I can actually start off from. So I have to fly from, because they were always kind of based in southeast England, and so they're kind of far away from Lyme Regis. And I'll pop up a map and I'll show you the location of Lyme Regis relative to Steeple Morden. And I'm going to take a fly off on a heading of about 233, which will take me almost exactly to where I want to go. So that's the first Easter egg in the game. Now, the second Easter egg, there really isn't anything that still exists online, and I haven't been able to find anything in any of the forums that still exist on the Internet Archive or any discussions anywhere. But what I did have, somebody emailed me or messaged me a comment that there was a memorial in the game. And I was very, very curious to find where this memorial was. And I stumbled across it. And I'm not going to give it away just yet. Once we've seen the aliens, I will then reveal the location of that monument. And it's very kind of interesting just because it's so easy to miss. It can be right before your eyes and you don't see it. In any case, let's get on now. Let's move on, and we'll start to track down the first Easter egg. So, as I said in the prior section, we're going to fly off in this beautiful P-47 Thunderbolt from the Steeple Morden Air Base here. So we'll get the engine started, we'll taxi and take off, and I'll see you folks back in a moment once we're at cruising altitude. So here we are, folks, cruising along nicely now. I'm just trying to keep our heading around 233, 234, cruising around 250 miles per hour, and fairly low altitude. I'm just kind of don't want to go up too high. I want to make sure I can see the ground details so that when we get near the beach, we don't have any large altitude changes to make, and I can certainly then see the detail on the ground so I can pinpoint where the aliens are. So we're just flying on our drop tank, and that will give us sufficient fuel to get there. And yeah, I'll see you again in a moment once we are much, much closer. So here we are, folks. We are now approaching Lyme Bay, and Lyme Bay is this bay area here. It's a very large bay on the coast of southern England. Lyme Regis is over here somewhere, I believe. I have actually found, I've kept drifting over. My heading has been drifting below 233, 234, so I think I'm going to be hitting this a little bit to the east of where we want to be, which is fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the coast, and we'll then just fly along the coastline until we find the beach that the aliens are resting upon. Okay, folks, so we're just making the turn now to follow the coastline here. And I'm just going to bring our altitude down a bit more. We've been creeping up in altitude as well, so Here we are, folks, just lining up for the coastline along the edge of Lime Bay here. So I will cruise along here for a while, and I do believe Lyme Regis is over in this area somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where we are just at the moment. So this is the kind of technique I use to get to where the aliens are. Is I tend to end up hitting the coastline a bit further east when I kind of fix on that bearing of that heading of 233, and so I then tend to just fly westwards along the coastline, follow it round a bit, and as long as I'm around 2,000 feet, we'll go down a bit now to get down to about that altitude, then the game should render and show the aliens on the beach, and then we'll be able to circle around and we'll land and we'll have a really close look at them then. So I'll be back with you in a short moment once we actually get once we're closer to getting the aliens in sight. Okay, folks, well, we can't just see the aliens just yet, but I just want to point out a few geographical features in case you're doing this. I always find that there's this kind of cliff edge here, certainly this grey kind of rocky area here, and then as I'm heading westwards there is this certainly what is clearly a cliff area here, and the aliens are past this area. So if you are flying this for yourself, then you can use that as a bit of a landmark. So we're just passing that cliff area there, and I just want to mention that you know when you're getting close to the aliens, because you should hear some eerie kind of 1950s style alien science fiction-y movie music playing, and so I'll stay quiet once we get to that area, and hopefully that will become quite apparent once we're there. Well, there you go. For some reason I didn't hear the music, and I have heard it before. That's kind of a bit bizarre, or maybe it's just my headphones. So maybe the music is being played and it's being captured on this recording, and I certainly hope that is the case. But I don't. But hopefully you saw the alien spaceship on the beach just there. That was always kind of creeps up on you when you're least expecting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 180-degree turn here. I'm going to head back up so the way we were coming, and then I'm going to actually do another 180-degree turn, and I'm actually going to land on the beach. You can land anywhere in this area and taxi down to the beach, but what you've got to make sure is that you don't taxi through any of these blue waterways, because they are modeled as waterways, and you will if you're taxiing along the ground, you will actually collapse into those waterways and disable your planes. So don't cross those rivers if you are doing that. So just bear with me in a moment again, folks. I'm just going to get a little bit further up the coast, and then we're going to do a sharp 180, or as sharp as I can possibly be without being rather dangerous. Okay, so once I get round out of this bend, I'm actually going to throttle back a lot here now. Going to drop our landing gear. I'm going to throttle right back, and I'm going to drop our flaps. We're coming in still a bit way too fast, so hopefully we'll land okay, and then I'll just taxi round. We're going to fly kind of past. Okay, that was an okay landing. So where's our flaps, and I'm actually going to set the parking brake briefly to slow us right down, and then I'm going to release it again. So here we go. One alien spaceship. How cool is that? There you can quite clearly see the two aliens sunbathing on the beach. So I'm going to kind of just get the P-47 here into a reasonable position, because unfortunately our camera is locked on the P-47, and I want to be able to zoom out sufficiently so we can have a good look around here. Yeah, that's probably a good enough position. So I'm actually going to shut her down, So I'm going to tell the AI to shut the P-47 down. So I'm going to hit Q and then S. And hopefully that will shut down. Come on. There we go. Right. Can you hear the music? I can hear it now and I have no idea what this recording is going to turn out like. So anyway. I'll boost the volume in the video if necessary. But how cool is this? Look at that. And the aliens talk, they just occasionally say something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on the two aliens here. And I'm just going to, basically, I'm going to get rid of the overlay. And I'm going to just stay silent and let you enjoy what the aliens say. So here we go, enjoy.
Jelly. Fish. Pork. Jellyfish. Trumpet tuba. Jellyfish. Banana. Pork. Pork pie. Starfish. Pie. Fruit. Monkfish.
So folks, I think I'll cut it off there. Unfortunately, I found this before, unfortunately when you land a plane on this beach, it does start to slip down the beach, and so you'll have probably noticed that the P-47 is slowly making its way down the beach because of the slope here. And it is going to run into those poor aliens in a moment. So one last quick look. See the aliens in all their glory. Okay folks, I've just moved the P-47 around a little bit because I just want to do a nice kind of zoom out and 360-degree pan around the area so that you can enjoy the full scene. And so here we go. I do apologise for the kind of jerky movements here. It's really difficult to do with my mouse. But you can clearly see the level of detail that was modelled in this game, even with all the ground elevation changes. WWII Design did an enormously fantastic job on this game. Yeah, isn't that cool? Anyway, so what I'm now going to do, folks, is I'm going to start up this P-47. I'm going to taxi and land and take off, and then we're going to fly back to Steeple Morden, and that's where I'm going to reveal the second Easter egg in a very short moment in this video. Just a word of warning, if you are doing this yourself and you've flown down here and you've got your plane on the beach and you do want to fly back, you do want to take off, do not take off on the beach. The resistance of the sand that has been modelled in the game will flip you onto your nose and very likely onto your back. And that's certainly happened to me. I've destroyed a few planes trying to take off from this beach. So the key is to taxi slowly and land and find a nice green field and just take off from there. But do not cross any rivers or waterways. You'll destroy your aircraft there as well. Anyway, folks, you'll join me in a moment. I'm just going to cut the return journey out. And the next scene I'll be landing at Steeple Morden. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so here we are, folks. We're on our approach to Steeple Morden. And for those observant to the overlay at the top left, you'll notice that the time has suddenly jumped back, and that's because I crashed on my return journey. We ran out of fuel in the external drop tank, and I'd accelerated the game, and I had it accelerated so much I didn't have time to respond to switching fuel tanks in time, and so the plane just crashed into the ground. So that wasn't very good. So I've had to kind of cheat and restart by just taking off from Steeple Morden. And now we're coming into land, so I'm going to put down our flaps and our landing gear, and I'm going to throttle back somewhat. Always seem to come in a bit too high early on, so some bad last minute corrections here. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Okay, so flaps up, and let's just keep our speed up enough to get to. I'm going to get rid of the overlay because I don't need that now. I'm actually just going to get to the second Easter egg. You'll be wondering, what the heck is he talking about? So, the Easter egg has actually just popped up. There it is. It's a monument that's in the game. And it's actually a dedication to somebody. So I'm going to the only way to really see it is to actually bring the plane really close in. So I'm going to kind of get fairly close. I'm actually just going to apply the parking brakes just to really stop us from moving too quickly. So we've got a really nice view of it there. So it's got a nice little fence around it there, and it's a beautiful marble monument here, and it's actually a dedication to somebody who was a significant contributor to the game in terms of military consultation, research and advice to the design team. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to fly the plane through the monument so that we can bring the camera right up to this plaque here, and I'm going to get the plaque in full screen here, and we can have a really close look at that. You need to kind of do this very carefully and slowly because it's very easy to overrun, and therefore you lose the ability to actually look at the monument or to be able to read the plaque. I told you it was a bit eerie the way the plane just moves forward through it there. So we'll get a little bit closer and we'll set our parking brake. Now the plaque reads Steeple Morden Air Base. Now this airbase is dedicated to Major Joseph N. Worsley, US AAF retired. Now Major Worsley has quite a number of medals and ribbons that he's been awarded. And so I'm just going to go through those now. They're underneath his name there. And the first one is the DFC, which is the Distinguished Flying Cross. Now that's normally awarded for heroism or extraordinary achievement while participating in an aerial flight. The second one there, AM-2 Bulk. Now I'm really not quite sure what that is, but I do believe that Bulk means something along the lines of Basic Officers Leadership Course. If you've got any information on that, please let us know in the comments section below. PH, I couldn't find any information on PH online at all. So again, if you've got any information on PH, please let us know in the comments section below. I'd love to know what that means. Then we have DUC and PUC, and they stand for Distinguished Unit Citation and Presidential Unit Citation. And they're normally awarded to units for extraordinary heroism in action against the enemy. Then we have CBI-Westpac Theatre Ribbon with 3 battle stars. The CBI stands for China, Burma, India, and that was a theatre of operations, as was the Westpac, which is the West Pacific. I kind of am thinking that actually this is actually the Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, but again, I'm not 100% certain about that. I couldn't find anything online that specifically covered CBI Westpac Theatre. It was all around Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal. And that covers the CBI and West Pacific operational theatres. Now the battle stars, I believe, are given for participation in major battles. So the 3 battle stars indicates that Major Worsley was involved in 3 major battles in that operational theatre. Next up is the American Theatre Ribbon, and this is a medal that's normally awarded for military service in the American Theatre of Operations. So that's just for participation in that Theatre of Operations. And he also has the World War II Victory Medal, and that general medal that was awarded to all members of the military who served in active duty in World War II, commencing on December the 7th, 1941. Underneath his awards, it says, while flying 23 missions in B-29s as lead navigator/bombardier, deputy lead, and individually aimed releases in the CBI Western Pac and American theatres. And then it goes on to say, without his unselfish service, neither this game nor the 355th Virtual Fighter Group would be the same. Now, I think that's a wonderful dedication to Major Worsley to put into the game. And I'll also just now pop up the screens where he is actually credited for his contribution to this game. First of all, here's the screen that credits Major Worsley as being the sole military consultant on the game B-17. Next up, he is credited for assisting in research for the game. Then we have his credit for crew speech scripting. And then next, his credit for voice direction. And then finally, just a general credit and top of the list as a general thanks for all that he contributed and assisted with making this game what it is today. Well, that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed seeing the 2 Easter eggs for this game. I hope you maybe check them out for yourself, maybe dive into the game and go looking for them on your own. It's really quite fun. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up below. I really would appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber of mine, then please subscribe. I've got lots of B-17 videos coming up. And thanks very much for watching, folks. I really appreciate it. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.